Hello and welcome back to Music with Mascots. I'm back from Hawaii, but I have the turtle t-shirt that I got in Kauai. I did have the privilege of snorkeling while I was there amongst a bunch of dolphins, and there were several sea tortoises, sea turtles as well. We had a lot of fun. The weather was amazing. Today's topic. Do a little unboxing here in a second. I'm going to switch on some noise for you to hear. There we go. What you're hearing is my this particular stereo turned up all the way. Right now it's set on phono. I don't have anything plugged into phono. Next I'm going to go to tuner. Again, plugged in all the way. The only thing that I have here, this is the Technics turntable, my SL 1200 Mark I, with the Emotiva set on moving magnet. Right now I have the Audio-Technica Shibata, the 1895 Shibata stylus for $229 roughly on there. Lastly, this is the Denon with the Denon 103 plugged in through the Duke Audio tube set on moving magnet. A certain amount of noise, you'll notice it increased as we went from the phono stage with nothing plugged in. A little bit more noise with the moving magnet Emotiva. And here we have the tube amplifier. Now I'm going to unplug those so that we have nothing going through anything and see what kind of noise we have there. So while I'm plugging in, when you're plugging and unplugging stuff in, you should turn the power off. And now, let's see what we have for noise on those two channels with nothing plugged in. Back to the phono stage. No noise at all on the tuner stage, and this is with it turned all the way up. And no noise at all on the auxiliary stage, with it turned all the way up. That's telling me that the noise is being generated through the preamps, whether that's the phono preamp in here in my Yamaha or the external preamps that I've got. Where is that noise coming from? And how much of it is coming from the preamps themselves? Now, I do have a device that I'm going to see if this affects anything. This is from Emotiva, and as you know, I've had one of the preamps is one of theirs. We're going to see if that affects anything here. But this is a precision AC line restoration and common mode filtering. Comes in a cardboard box. Yeah. It was shipped to me in the cardboard box that it comes in. I'm going to open that up in a second. I read the reviews on this, and they were mixed, which is what I would expect from this. What this is supposed to do is help filter out noise. If you live in a place where there is not a lot of electrical noise, this isn't going to do much for you. Down here in my basement, I have fluorescent lights, and various kinds. They're turned on right now. I got a little heater unit over on the side that's on right now. It might be contributing some noise to stuff. Meow. You want us to come up and say hello? Come on up. Arg. Minou, the purring cat, is here in her supervisory capacity, as she often is when she joins us. She says, "You're doing experimentation without me? How could you do that?" Now, I don't know if you can hear her purring as loudly as you heard. The staticky type noise that we were getting from all of the preamplifiers. But let's see what we do. Now, if you're in an environment where you have a lot of electrical noise coming into your system, something like this can help if it's effective. I don't know if that's going to be true in my situation here. We're going to find out if it helps with these preamps, knock down some of the noise that they're introducing into the system. I think that a lot of the times when you're talking about cables, and are cables any good? There's a lot of scientific research that says the signal from one type of cable is pretty much the same as the signal from another type of cable. But one of the things that they don't necessarily address, and some of them do, is the insulating factor that cables provide. And if you get a cable that's like this thick, it's protecting the ambient electrical noise from getting into your system to a certain extent. And I think that's partially what you're getting when you're getting super expensive cables. I don't think you need to buy super expensive cables. I would put my money elsewhere. We got a lot of white foam and stuff. Now, just to remind you guys, for those of you that don't know, Emotiva is an American company that has much of their stuff manufactured overseas, where it's less expensive to manufacture. And we have a power cable, a desiccant to keep everything dry. This is the unit itself, and it's set up so that you can install it. It's got little screws here, there, and elsewhere, so you can leave it permanently affixed to something. And it's got 2 plugs. And it's got a reset right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got a power strip behind my stuff here that everything is plugged into, and that is plugged into an outlet over there. Oh, they even give you the little screws to mount this with, which is very nice. I'm going to plug this into that outlet. And then plug that power strip into this. And I'm actually hoping that this does reduce the noise in those units. Now, obviously the tube unit from Duke Audio introduced a lot more noise than the Emotiva preamp did. The Emotiva is solid state. One thing it doesn't have is a little light that tells you that it's on. So that's a little negative, but it's not that big a deal because the extension cord that I plugged into it has a little light that tells me it's on. So We still have no noise on the auxiliary with nothing plugged in. No noise on the tuner, so the unit didn't add any noise, which is good. We still have noise on the phono stage. Oddly, it almost seems as if that got louder. That shouldn't have happened. Okay, let's go to the Emotiva preamp. Noise is almost exactly the same. Before it was a little louder, except there's a low hum. Don't know if I didn't notice that before, but it may have been there. Now let's go to the tube amp. Ooh! That's nasty. Huh. Okay, I'm going to change this up with different speakers. See what kind of effect that has. And also, this is a very old amplifier, and it has not been recapped. Don't know what effect that would have. If you have any idea, plug it in the comments and let me know. That's tube. Emotiva. So the Emotiva just adds a tiny bit of noise compared to the phono preamp in this unit. You turn it down a little, you don't hear it a little, but you do hear it on the tube amplifier, on the tube preamp, which is a big negative. And I was noticing that before, but I wasn't sure if that was due to something external, so I didn't mention it in my review. I will in my next review when I'm talking about moving magnet cartridges, because I'm going to be reviewing all these again. I did the review for the moving coil settings. Oh, that's what I did different. Let's see. I did change the slightly different noise with the Emotiva on moving magnet versus moving coil. Very interesting. I don't know if you can hear that. Of course, if you can't hear anything on this, I'm not going to post the video, but I think you can. Phono stage in the amp. Emotiva. This is, again, with everything cranked to the maximum, which you would never do, but you know, it's still there to a lesser extent all the time. Now, granted, in a normal setting, you're not going to hear it above the music or with the music at all. You get a little bit away from the speakers, you don't really hear it at any kind of a normal setting. I don't even listen to the stereo this loud, let alone like this. So that's the tube, Emotiva, Yamaha. Pioneer, sorry, this is Pioneer. So the Pioneer has the least impact of sound. And now, I'm going to try and remember how much noise we're getting as I switch over to to without the noise reduction. So I'm thinking deep thoughts. So this is the phono stage in the amplifier. This is the Emotiva preamp. And this is the, the tube preamp. Very interesting that without the Emotiva noise reduction unit, or noise interference unit, the preamp here seems to make a little bit less noise. Minou's making her supervisory. She was telling me what to say. I understood. However, it did reduce the noise a little bit on the other two preamps, which were adding some noise. I'm going to turn on some more fluorescent lights. I know it makes a difference in the lighting and kind of flushes me out here. Now, so I don't have that plugged in. It's definitely increased the noise. Marginally. So, kicking on these fluorescent lights did add a little noise. And plugging the Emotiva back in did reduce that noise. So, I'm going to say that it is doing what it says it will do. Whether or not it does that to the extent that you or I would want it to is a very different question. And I think that that's going to depend on where you live and the type of interference that you have. So, and how much of a noise reduction you're expecting to get from it. In this range, from negative 34 dB to negative 18 dB, which is where I do most of my listening on this. Don't hear anything here. Don't hear anything here. Hear a little bit here. So for me, that's worth it. For you, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do in your house or in your system. If you live in an area, a very urban area, where there's a lot of stuff, you live in an apartment building that's old and it's got old wiring, I suspect it would probably help you a lot. If you're in an area that's fairly industrial, this type of thing, I suspect you could get a lot of value out of something like this. If you live in a more rural area and all of your electrical stuff is new, and it's not, you don't have a lot of noise coming into your system anyway, it's not going to matter that much. So before you spend $189 on something like this, I would consider where you're at. A little bit of noise reduction. When you're at the point in your system where a little bit is where your adjustments are falling into place, this might be an option for you. A little bit of noise in your turntable preamp, this might help a little bit. If you're getting noise in your amplifier outside of the preamp setting, maybe you need to redo the capacitors or something, I don't know, but you might want to try something like this See if you're getting some noise from electrical signals. I was very interested to find out that with nothing plugged in on the tuner and auxiliary setting, I could turn this up all the way and I'm getting no noise. That tells you how well built this thing was back in the 70s. Because I don't think it's had any recapping work done at all. I have not been inside it, although when I bought it, I had intended to. And I do know that the knobs need cleaning. There is some noise coming in there when I turn knobs a little bit. And yeah, that's where I am, guys. If you made it this far, please hit like and subscribe. I need to get some more subscribers. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're already subscribed. I don't know. But this is an interesting one. Yeah. I think this is an interesting one. Can you eliminate noise? Electrical noise that's coming in from elsewhere. Yeah. Little experiment. Little sound experiment. All right. So here's my spiel that I do at the end. We share this world. Please be kind to one another. Care about each other. Try not to hate anyone. Listen to music. Music you love is not the music I love. It might be, might not be. We all have different tastes. Your taste is not any better or worse than mine. It's just different. And right here, right now, what we're looking for is quality of sound. How can we make our sound better? And hopefully without spending too much money. That's what I'm all about. At a given point, I do spend money, but sometimes I don't. And I'm going to do another video here about, can you start out listening to vinyl for under $100? That's an interesting one, huh? All right. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great life. Thanks.